Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host Daniel Shin, and you're at this gamer channel. For today I'm playing the game called League of Legends. I am the Ryze player in this game, and my summer name is Severi, and this was played on patch 5.11. For today I'm going to show you how to win top lane when you're behind on summoner spells. So let's get the game started. So as you can see here in just a moment, the enemy jungler Xin Zhao is about to gank me in top lane. Nidalee and I have been trading more or less evenly. I was overextended, got ganked by the enemy jungler, and was forced to burn my flash in order to live. That was an extremely successful gank by the enemy Xin Zhao player, because not only was I forced to burn my flash, but in order to get back in lane and not get too far behind on farm, I decided to use my teleport to get back in lane. By the way, the reason why I used my Q there was to help stack up my Tear of the Goddess. So now, as you can see, I am down 2 summoner spells compared to this enemy Nidalee. And we are more or less even on trading. She's a little bit behind on farm because she's been trying to harass me more, but we're more or less even at this point. So one of the things I really want to show you and demonstrate today is what we call freezing the lane. Freezing the lane is the concept of having more enemy minions pushing into your tower than you have minions on your side. By correctly pruning the enemy wave, you can always keep the enemy wave pushing into your turret. This allows you to farm safely without risk of dying, and is extremely important, especially when you have both flash and teleport down. Now, one of the things that's also important for this is placing lots of vision. As you can see, I've bought a pink ward, and I am placing it in the tri-bush just below me. One of the things to also note during this game is that Xin Zhao is recalling in our jungle. There was a team fight that occurred in mid lane at approximately 6 minutes and 15 seconds of this in-game video time. By the way, when I got hit there is because I was starting the recording. The 2 other times I get hit in this game is because I just stink at dodging harassment. But anyway, my point was that oftentimes I do recommend to collapse into your jungle if you know that there's a fight that's going to break out in the jungle. However, this particular fight started in the mid lane, and it was not clear that the fight was going to spill over with someone chasing into our jungle at the time. So just to summarize, if you think you can impact the team fights, you should leave lane and look for those opportunities, and that was something I did note during the game. But if you're not able to impact it, you shouldn't give up your freeze. So at this point in time, I just wanted to note how well we're doing in terms of farming. We are up at our lane opponent by 20 CS. Yes, I have been taking a little bit of harass because I'm using my spells on the minion waves, but Ryze is a late game champion. It's okay to spend time freezing the lane, staying under turret, and leveling up. The 2 other things that really help with having a frozen lane near your turret is that your team's jungler has a great opportunity to gank for you in your lane and getting a kill and winning the lane. By the way, just a second ago I started roaming down because I thought the enemy Nidalee player was going to start roaming down to mid lane and try to gank Lux. Looks like she didn't actually do that, but it is also important to try to trail people so that the enemy does not get a numeric advantage for a gank without the other laner being aware, or you as the laner is trailing the laner who's trying to gank. So at this point in time, I do want you to be aware dragging is up. My teleport is coming shortly off of cooldown. I am right now trying to push out the wave because if you look at the bottom lane, they are way overextended and there's a lane in the middle of the lane. And Nidalee looked like she was going to teleport down there. When the enemy laner has an opportunity for a strong teleport play, potentially, you have to make them pay for that in lane by pushing that turret of theirs as hard as possible and make them miss as much last hitting farm as possible while they're out of lane and possibly take that turret down. Now this particular Nidalee decided to cancel her teleport, and so now the lane got unfrozen. But I want to show you something called luring the minions also. if you just saw that, you saw that the canyon minion trailed me just south of the turret, out of range of the turret shots, but in a position that I can refreeze this wave. Now, I did this because I'm trying to wait a little bit more time for teleport to come back up. My original plan during this game was to push out the wave towards Nidalee's tower, making her lose all the CS, roam towards bottom to help try to pressure Dragon, and then teleport back into the top lane to recover all the CS. But at this point in time, I want to recall to base in order to spend some of this gold that I have from the farm advantage I got from being able to farm underneath my turret, and use that gold advantage and items to bully out the lane. And I can do this now because Nidalee's teleport is down and mine is not. Now, as you can see, Nidalee here probably overstays in lane. She tries to harass me. I make it look like I'm initially going for farm. Now Nidalee's overextended, and wow, look at that burst of mine. And this is all because I have a huge gold advantage compared to the Nidalee. Understanding and knowing item power spikes, and also realize that you may be up or down in farm, but unless you go back to shop, you only have potential item power. You actually have to cash it in into items to realize that power in the game, and that's what Nidalee did not appreciate or respected from my Ryze character in that moment with that particular death. Now, of course, during this part of the game, the point of the game is to build up a minion wave, push it in the tower, and have it bounce back towards you, so that once again I can farm safely under tower without threat of dying. But always you should think about what is the next step for me. Since I'm now considered winning in lane, I should try to increase the amount of vision that I have to avoid ganks. The way I was going to be doing that this particular game is I didn't have enough money for a ward during that last visit, but I can take Scuttler Crab here for both farm and temporary vision to help protect me further in the lane, which is what I do here. One of the other things that's important in League of Legends is not to get frustrated with your team's jungler if he's not providing any ganks. During this particular game, so far I've not received a single gank from Vi, even though I've frozen the lane very well and have provided plenty of opportunities for the Vi player to gank. Because in this particular game, remember, it is a team game, and our Vi player was spending and focusing her energy down in the bottom lane, where she has allowed and helped assist Kalista get a huge advantage in the game. Now at this point in the game, I can be a little bit more aggressive in pushing out the lane once again because I have good vision and I know I won't be ganked by the enemy jungler. Right now, Nidalee and I are harassing. I am allowing the wave to push back slightly towards me. Now right now I'm trading with the Nidalee player because I am up in farm, I am up in kills, and I have more items than her, making me more powerful than her. But I also have good vision, and I also know that Xin Zhao and Talon have both died just recently, and they are only now respawning after that long dragon fight. So because I kept on harassing this Nidalee out so much, I was able to secure another kill. And now once again I have the opportunity to push the minion wave into the tower. However, all of this is possible because of map awareness and good vision. I am watching the mini-map during this time. Notice I'm backing off here right now because I have lost vision in the river and I don't know where Xin Zhao was, and I was afraid that I would be ganked. And it was a good thing I had done so because Xin Zhao was actually in that bush, even though I was not aware of it during the actual game. So one thing I do want our viewers to note is that during this moment here when I'm walking back into the lane, I did have enough money to buy a green ward. I still have my team up in that tri-bush, but for whatever reason I had a lapse in judgment and I did not decide to buy a green ward for myself, and I'll show you why that lapse in vision and decision making cost me later in the game. I think the reason why I didn't buy it is I was distracted because I was watching the map in the bottom lane and watching what happened to Kalista. Regardless, one of the things once you do happen to build an advantage, or if you're behind, that you should do is start roaming into other lanes. For example, I just finished roaming into mid lane to try to alleviate some of the pressure that Talon was placing on our mid turret, or if Lux happened to be there, I would have been able to... I could have ganked Talon with Lux if she were there and gained an advantage for her in mid lane. Now, during this moment here, I actually ideally would have liked to have placed a green ward, just like how Nilly's taking the Scuttler Crab, which is kind of like a free ward here, before I pushed out. Notice how I have a pretty minimal minion wave, and it is very dangerous for any player, no matter how far ahead you are in lane, even if you're up 117 last hits compared to 49 last hits and 2 kills. Vision is so crucial in this game. I cannot stress how vision and wards are probably the best single defensive item that you can buy in the game. It was at this point in the game that I really wish I had a green ward, because I really wanted to be able to bully out this Nilly, who's way far behind in gold and last hits and kills, and keep pressuring her tower. However, not only does Nilly do a good job in terms of exchanging harass, even though she's behind in the game, but she gets me positioned in a way such that I get baited. Notice how this is a very easy bait. Not only did Xin Zhao, but also Talon saw it. So, even though I tried to flash, I did not realize Talon was there, and it was just way too much damage. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video instructional. Please remember, vision saves lives. Always look for the next step that you should be doing with your teleports. And finally, don't forget wave control through pruning minion waves and freezing the lane. Thank you.